Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Family Chantel is one of the most popular 90-day Fiance franchise spin-offs of all time. But without the couple at the center, could the show find a way to be revamped for an exciting return? A fixture of the 90-day Fiance franchise, Chantel Everett and Pedro Jimeno were one of the most exciting couples that the series ever followed. Chantel, a 20-something from Atlanta, Georgia, found love with Pedro, her Spanish tutor, who was living in his native Dominican Republic. Pedro and Chantel's love story was a whirlwind, and the pair got engaged quickly after meeting. While Chantel and Pedro's relationship was quick to form, things took a while to settle into a regular rhythm once the pair got engaged, and Pedro moved to the U.S. Though both Pedro and Chantel were close to their families, they didn't share much about their relationship initially, which caused some serious issues. Chantel didn't tell her family that Pedro was moving to the U.S. or that the pair had gotten engaged, which was a difficult hurdle for the couple to overcome when they needed the support of the Everetts in the long term. As the couple were documented through their engagement and the aftermath on 90 Day Fiance, viewers began to find Pedro and Chantel the most captivating couple. While both did seem to be in love, there were some cracks in the foundation for the couple quickly after they came back to the U.S. Though they had their fair share of issues, Pedro and Chantel got married and earned their own 90-day spin-off, The Family Chantel. Going more in-depth with the issues that Chantel faced bringing Pedro into her family of origin, the spin-off was a quick hit for the network. As The Family Chantel got through its first seasons, viewers got to know Chantel's family. Bringing her mother and father, Karen Everett and Thomas Everett, into the forefront, Chantel and Pedro did their best to deal with the wedge that her family was trying to drive between them. At the same time, Pedro's mother, Lydia Morel, and sister, Nicole Jimeno, were struggling with his relationship with Chantel as well. Though viewers didn't like the family interference with Chantel and Pedro's relationship, they enjoyed the drama of the series. Throughout the run of The Family Chantel, it was clear that Chantel and Pedro struggled with issues outside of their family's disdain for their relationship that put even more strain on their relationship. While many were rooting for the pair, it became clear that Pedro's investment in the marriage wasn't the same as Chantel's, which clearly hurt her considerably. Though Chantel and Pedro have divorced, many are still missing the Family Chantel and feel it needs to return in a new capacity. Chantel Everett remains a key figure in the 90-day Fiance family, keeping viewers interested long after the Family Chantel's end. While her tumultuous relationship with Pedro and the drama surrounding her family captivated viewers, Chantel's real gift on the series was encouraging viewers to watch and keeping them engaged in her life. Chantel became a reality TV staple, especially for those who keep up with the 90-day franchise. Even after The Family Chantel came to its climactic end, viewers continued to follow her life through social media, curious about her post-divorce journey. Chantel's charismatic personality and penchant for emotional vulnerability have kept her in viewers' minds, even if she hasn't been as present since the show ended. Her unresolved storylines, from new romances to family dynamics, have viewers speculating about what's next for the Family Chantel star and hopeful she'll return to reality TV. Although Pedro was one of the most polarizing parts of The Family Chantel, his time on the series wasn't something that viewers were able to look away from. Pedro, who immigrated to the U.S. in order to be with Chantel, had a bit of culture shock coming from the Dominican Republic and landing in Atlanta. Even so, his life was changing in every way, so the surprise didn't necessarily hit as hard. After The Family Chantel, Pedro was going through a whole different sort of change. Now, as a single man for the first time in his life living in the U.S., Pedro's choices likely look a lot different than they did when he was married. Viewers have been interested in learning more about what's happening with Pedro after the divorce, especially with his newly single life in the U.S., giving him entirely different opportunities and struggles. Pedro's sister, Nicole, has been one of the most controversial figures on the family Chantel throughout its run. Though she's been able to stir up drama on and off screen for years, she was most well known for the feuds she got into with Chantel and her family during their time on the series. While her comments weren't always kind or well thought out, Nicole was able to defend her actions in nearly every situation, which made her dangerous to deal with. While some enjoyed watching Nicole and the drama she stirred up, others felt that it was difficult to watch her come for her sister-in-law without Pedro really coming to Chantel's defense. As a polarizing figure on the series, viewers would be interested in seeing more from Nicole if the show were to return. Even with the backlash against her more consistent than with other The Family Chantel stars, Nicole would be great to see on the series if it were to make a comeback because of the dramatic flair she could add to any story. Although Lydia was portrayed as a manipulative villain on The Family Chantel, viewers could find a new side of her if the series was to make a comeback. Lydia's harsh outer layer wasn't necessarily the core of who she is, especially because the majority of the drama she started or contributed to had to do with Chantel and Pedro's relationship. Though her son's marriage to Chantel wasn't something she approved of, it became clear as the series went on that she wanted what she felt was best for Pedro, even to a fault. Lydia's role on The Family Chantel was complicated because she virtually knew that she would come off as a villain to viewers, but didn't care and continued to push her son to get away from his marriage. Though she was a source of constant drama, Lydia's consistency was something that the Family Chantel viewers came to rely on and expect, even if they weren't happy about it. If the Family Chantel were to return, viewers could get the chance to see Lydia in a whole new light. Although the 90-Day Fiance franchise has quite a few shows at any given moment, there aren't currently any quality spin-offs that follow a couple who got their start on the series. With some of the more famous 90-day couples having moved away from the franchise, The Family Chantel was one of the few spin-offs that viewers flocked to and enjoyed more than the original series. While there were reasons beyond control that ended The Family Chantel, viewers are still craving a spin-off to attach themselves to. While The Family Chantel couldn't come back in the same capacity it was at before, it could very much change its DNA and return in a new form. With Chantel and Pedro living separate lives, the series could branch off and show both sides of the former couple. Viewers would be thrilled to see the spin-off come back. While The Family Chantel viewers can't stand Pedro in a lot of ways, watching him is sometimes the best way to feel their feelings about him. Pedro has become a far more consistent online figure than he was while he was on the show, moving to Instagram in order to promote himself and his business. While Pedro hasn't necessarily been getting praised for his behavior online, he's been noticed by the majority of the Family Chantel fans. Though he's using his online following for clout, Pedro has been prevalent on Instagram and working hard to ensure that he's still gaining traction on his posts. Creating sometimes cringeworthy content, Pedro has been doing a decent job at staying relevant, even though The Family Chantel has come to an end. If the show were to revamp itself, Pedro would be able to share the news with this following, hopefully pulling in new viewers. While 90-Day Fiance viewers haven't enjoyed Pedro, they've been fans of Chantel since the very beginning. Chantel was one of the reasons that she and Pedro's relationship was even featured on the series, as she's a charismatic woman with a relatable personality. Chantel has been keeping her personal brand similar to what it was during her time on The Family Chantel, ensuring that her online presence hasn't changed and viewers are still familiar with who she is at her core. Despite having dealt with some issues during her time on the show, Chantel has been keeping herself relevant and ensuring her following knows who she is after The Family Chantel. Instead of dragging Pedro or creating cringeworthy content, she's been doing what she did all along, keeping calm and continuing to share herself with the franchise. Chantel would continue to rise in popularity if the show were to return. Although Chantel and Pedro would have to agree to the exploration of their financial situations, they've become a point of interest for the family Chantel viewers over the years. After the couple split, their finances became even more interesting to those who watched the show. While Chantel was working throughout their time on the series and Pedro was pursuing his real estate career, their financial independence never seemed to be achievable. While things were difficult during their marriage, it's likely their financial situation, both together and separately, has changed post-divorce, with Chantel likely facing challenges as she tries to balance her new single life with her career.